Good evening. Welcome to Happy Medium Review this evening. I have been preparing for this all day. I've had so many things to take care of today that I just was like, okay, at the top of the morning, I knew that I was going to do this video for these song reviews I'm going to do. And I was so excited about it all day. But then I got busy doing all my workaday stuff, and I got home and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can finally sit down and do this. So finally, with no further ado, we are going to talk about Poison Ivy and the People tonight. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is I am not doing a full album review this video. I hope to do one for Poison Ivy and the People at another time when I become more familiar with their music, because this is kind of the first time I've been hearing it and that I've been introduced to it. So I want to know more of them before I review more music by Poison Ivy and the People. But I think this is going to be a band I'm going to come back to time and time again to review. I like consistency in that way. And when I become a fan, I become a super fan, and I will know everything. I will be like, I used to play this game when the internet was first becoming popular in like 2001, 2002. And Bowie was one of the first pioneers of using the internet to be interactive with music. And there was a game you could play, and you'd answer questions, and they tell you like they'd say something cute based on how many answers you get right. And I'd always get, "Is that you, David?" So I can become a bit of a geek about something I love. And I already fell in love with Poison Ivy and the People because the reason is I love live music. I love all music. I love all things music. As a music connoisseur, I understand that if a band is really good, they're better live. And I gotta say that I have not heard anything recorded yet that wasn't live by Poison Ivy and the People. So I'm going to be interested to do that and see how they all compare it. But what I will say is I was riveted by their live show. The stage and the atmosphere and the energy of the audience. But I'm going to start off by talking about where this performance took place. So it took place March 9th of 2024 at the Pillar Room. At the time, the event was called the Haunted Forest at Pillar Room. The reason why is because a whole atmosphere was created there. A stage set with atmospheric props on the stage, and the whole place became another, kind of was transformed into this haunted forest, which is very ethereal. And I thought it was very interesting because I wanted to know where the Pillar Room is. I left Minnesota in 2020. I'm not sure if the Pillar Room existed at the time when I was still there. So I don't know if I've ever been there. But what I find interesting is the neighborhood. My grandfather lived on 24th and Central, and the Pillar Forum is on 23rd and Central. And I have to believe that bar is an old-timer place, and it has changed hands a number of times, that my grandfather has sat there and had many a beer. So that this is all close to home, too. And not only is it close to home, but it is right up my alley. I like all things glamorous, theatrical, psychological, horror. The list goes on. I am like not only the poster child for like shoegaze. I made it that way, but I am also really into punk rock, and I'm post-contemporary and new wave, and I'm rather ex-punk. I earned that title in about 10 years after being punk rock enough to not have to try too hard anymore. So And that's what a friend of mine said. He's like, well, I'm like, what's the next one? He's like, oh, it's just, he said it's a recovering dark cider. So, that's funny. So, here it is. I'm now going to kind of talk about the sound of the music. And I love the name Poison Ivy and the People. It's kind of like, reminds me of something as excellent as Sly and the Family Stone or something like that. And the way Poison Ivy and the People describe Poison Ivy and the People at their own website is as the genre or the sound of the music is existential, theatrical, bubble grunge, which is a very interesting term I haven't heard, but I'm going to start looking into that too as well, and there's a new leaf for me to turn over. So it says, existential, theatrical, bubble grunge, rock band. And I've looked a couple other places just to get some idea on, I believe it was Bandcamp. Because Bandcamp not only has lyrics at times, but they also have really good descriptions of songs and special different features that you might not find elsewhere. I honestly am not a huge fan of Spotify. I prefer to go to Bandcamp or YouTube. And that's just how I feel like I have better control over what I'm hearing, and also I am better able to keep track of what I've heard, especially on YouTube. So, more descriptions of Poison Ivy and the People are alternative, dreamy, grunge, indie rock, theatrical, and Minneapolis, because they do perform in and around Minneapolis all the time. If you go to Poison Ivy and the People, the band, you will find the upcoming events and shows, and I believe you can even purchase tickets, I noticed. So now that I've talked about how the sound is described, I kind of want to talk about the songs now that I heard. And the songs, I'm so excited to talk about these songs. The first one I am going to talk about this evening is called Robot Ghost. And I love this song. There's this feeling you get when you're listening to it, like it's melodic, and it's like, again, it kind of reminds me of the same vibe as shoegaze, which is very atmospheric, dreamy. It also has a wall of sound quality to it, which is also my favorite. And I was like, if I didn't already say this, not only is it from my own neighborhood, it's right up my alley. So, I had quite a day yesterday. And Robot Ghost is super relatable. One of my favorite lyrics from the songs are, I'll always mean nothing to the ones I love the most. And I hope I did not misquote the lyrics. I'll say it again. I'll always mean nothing to the one I love the most is actually correct, I believe. And I am sorry for that. I would think I would have written it down right, but I'm not going to let it catch me up. I'm going to move on. So I want to talk again about that being super relatable. I felt that way yesterday. And to hear it now is cool. Now, if I had heard it yesterday, I would have sat there for like an hour and listened to it and be like, I know. I totally understand. And, another thing I wanted to say is a lot of the songs by Poison Ivy and the People are about mental health and mental illness. So my channel is very geared towards that. And I was struggling with that yesterday. And this music would help me in those moments, because it is so heartfelt. And it's not angry. That's the other thing I love about it. It's not like it's not like super emotional or angry. It's just honest and heartfelt, and someone who's speaking from their heart and their gut. And again, I don't know if I talked about the ambiance of the room, the audience, and I want to talk about that too, because that's one of the fun things about going to live shows. There's a fan in the audience, a listener, and a fan. I will call myself a fan, which is a rare thing, but I'm sure whoever I'm calling a fan won't mind. And they yell out, "Superstar!" And Ivy has a wonderful smile. They smile, and I love how Ivy also engages with the crowd. And I also found it very impossible to take my eyes off of Ivy, because their guitar really grabs you and it keeps the hold on you, which is a good thing. That's what you want. So I said all that and I quoted the lyrics, and I thought there was another part I wanted to share from that song, but it might actually be that I want to share a song from the other song that was performed. And I love this song too. It has the same wonderful energy. And I'm going to tell you, like, the whole time. The other thing, again, I'm going to kind of relate it back to shoegaze again, because when you're in a shoegaze crowd, you're like close together and you're like, keeping each other warm. And you're not, nobody feels like anyone's invading their space. And that's so rare these days. That's really rare. And the beauty is the audience is very tight-knit, and no one is standing still, because they're very much feeling it, and you're feeling it. And even watching it on a video, you're like feeling it too. Like I'm like, oh, I want to be in that crowd, feeling that, And I really wanted to share this song here. And I also want you to go listen to these songs. And I'm going to talk about that more specifically just before I end this video. So what I'm going to do here is, I was talking about how mental health awareness, mental illness awareness is like my kind of forte as well. So I'm just delighted to find Poison Ivy and the people. And another thing that delights me is that people who are experiencing that can come together and unwind and live and be inspired and enjoy such great music that is comforting to them. Because it is very comforting to me. I found these words extremely insightful, wise, and I don't know if I already said this, but no, they're not overly emotional. They're sincere, earnest, heartfelt, and you can feel it here. And then the music kind of, feel that, the words here, and you feel the music just kind of, and then the guitar grabs you, which is always a good thing. So I'm going to read the lyrics I really wanted to share, and I was extremely happy when I went and looked up some of the way that Poison Ivy and the people are described, because the reason why I chose these words was because they were about mental illness and being honest about it, and I've already talked about that on this channel. So I'm going to share it. The song is called, the first song that I read from was called Robot Ghost, and I read words from that song. I quoted lyrics from that song. And I really hope I said the name of the song when I did that. I'm going to move on and go ahead and read the words that I want to share from the song Game. I'm pulling out my hair. I want to rip out my brain. I know you don't care. You think it's just a game. You know, again, every now someone who is a poetic, lyrical genius comes along and it hits the nail right on the head and helps us to have something to really kind of sink our teeth into and be like, yeah, that's how that feels. And to know that we are not alone in that. And it takes a courageous person and a brave person to get up on stage and bare their soul in every way, shape, and form, and to bring excellence to the table. I am a fan, and I can't wait to do more reviews and listen to more and get more out of Poison Ivy and the people. And I do want to just say here and now, the songs I reviewed, the first one was Robot Ghost. Live at the Pillar Forum, I believe it's called the Haunted Forest at Pillar Forum. So, the Haunted Forest at Pillar Forum, 3/9/24. You'll find these two live performances there with those details. The first song is called Robot Ghost, and the second song is called Game. And I want to get to a point on my YouTube channel here where we have like performers, remote, live, because you can do that here. And also where we can get permission to add clips for music from the artist or whoever has the rights. We need to get the rights from. And I'll do more research so that day can come. But that's the evolution of this channel and kind of why it's so fun. So I will see you all soon. And I'm going to shout out to Poison Ivy and the people. Hi, Poison Ivy and the people. Hi, Ivy. And I hope I get to see you live. I hope so. I mean, live, I get to see you live. But I mean, in person.